welcome back to the second part of our healthy habits conversation that we are having with Dana and Madison. And they are guests from St. Louis County Health Department. However, I'd like to just, reiterate that all the topics that we're going to be covering today are crucial information that literally anyone, anywhere, including, city of St. Louis and just literally all over the country, needs to be privy to all this knowledge and just all of these topics and this information. So, again, we're just super excited to have them with us. And in this second part, we're going to be covering things like how to keep your home safe, which is super important. And also, we're going to be covering some different things like genetic family testing and just family health history and how do we know what that looks like, as well as a bunch of other really cool topics. And then at the end, we're going to kind of have a little bit of conversation stuff, a little bit deeper dive, if you will, into some of these topics, just to give you guys a little bit more bonus information. So, again, I'm Jen with Aging Advantage, and Aging Advantage is a non-for-profit organization here in the St. Louis area. And so we help service the St. Louis and, obviously like all the surrounding areas around it as well. But we work with grant funding and donation funding as well. And through those opportunities, we're able to partner with incredible organizations, like I said, like the health department, to be able to provide really incredible education opportunities for you all. And, and again, we just try to really help you guys be more self-reliant and more resilient and help to really give you the confidence so that you can live, more independent and more purposeful, safe, as we've learned, safe, fulfilled lives. And, through being able to do that, we're able to help you all with the post-pandemic effects of things like, housing issues and food issues, isolation issues, again, as well as like safety issues and just really, helping you, I guess, be aware of what you're currently doing and help you to navigate just a healthier path for yourself, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all the things, right? So anyway, today, again, I'd like to welcome Dana and Madison back for our second part of this series. And thank you all for joining us. Grab your drink and get cozy and let's dig in.
Just practice self-care. So that means taking the time to do things that help you live well and improve both your physical health and your mental health. You may want to try a relaxing activity, set goals and priorities, focus on positivity. So that could be identifying and challenging your negative and unhelpful thoughts. Um, I don't know. So, like, how do you usually practice self-care, Dana?
Um, that's a good question. I think you asked me that the other day. How do I practice self-care? Well, one, like I said, I like to scrapbook. I know that's not really self-care, but that kind of gives me a time to sit back and relax. And one thing that I've actually discovered that I like that I did I was a caregiver for many years for my parents, my husband. I and also had kids at home, and I've discovered that I like silence. So sometimes I just like to sit in the total quiet, and I go around all day doing things in the house, and I realize I don't have any TVs on or radios on. I'm in the silence, and I didn't realize that I like silence. So that's another way that I practice self-care. Just sometimes just taking in the moment without any distraction.
Yeah, something that I usually like to do is to kind of take care of my house plants. So I like to water them and move the soil around a bit and make sure they're getting enough light and take pictures of them and yeah, just looking at the all the greenery there. So yeah, it's just always important to have a relaxing activity and relieve stress because we all go through a lot of stressors in just in daily life. And then you may want to also keep a healthy home. So make sure that your heating and cooling, as well as ventilation, are working properly. You want to keep your home or apartment or condo, wherever you live, your living environment, keep it clean, tidy, and free of excess clutter. If you think you maybe, a hoarder or hoarding anything, seek help for it. It is classified more as a of a mental illness, so you may want to get professional help for that. But hoarding really is ongoing difficulty throwing away or parting with possessions because you believe that you need to save them. So check for dust, bed bugs, lead, radon, and mold, and open windows periodically to circulate fresh air. So, just with the hoarding, it kind of poses a risk for a fire to break out. You may trip over items, have items fall on you. Mold could grow very easily in places that you can't see because there's a lot of stuff. It attracts a lot of pests like rodents and insects. It can cause breathing issues for those with asthma or allergies due to the amount of dust. It can cause stress and even isolation. And it could be a danger to you, young children, those with mobility issues, and your pets. And then with radon, so radon is a naturally occurring, invisible, and odorless radioactive gas. It's usually released from rocks, soil, and water, but it can get into homes sometimes, and it can get trapped and build up in the air. And so breathing in high levels of radon over time can cause lung cancer. So there's usually a pretty affordable radon kit that you can buy from stores, and it'll have instructions on how to use it and detect it. And then with lead, it can be found in paint, ceramics, batteries, pipes and plumbing. Sometimes you have to be careful if you live in houses that were built before 1980. And it's especially dangerous for children since they're still developmentally growing. And so it can be inhaled or ingested. So just try to get your house and water tested for lead.
Right, there we go. So family history, health history is really important. It helps record diseases that are common in the family. And so just like you would put a family tree together for your just for family members, you may want to add what type of illnesses they had with that. So you may have behaviors in common such as exercise habits or what you like to eat. That could be included in that as well. And you want to collect information about your parents, sisters, brothers, half sisters, half brothers, children, grandparents, aunts, uncles, nieces, and nephews. And it's a good, it's something maybe you could do as at a family reunion as an activity or any other family gathering, whether it's maybe a Sunday meal, if you get together to play cards, if you whatever if you have a family game night, it's a good time to bring up family illnesses. And I would say a lot of times people don't know their family history and they don't find out that somebody may have died from cancer or heart disease until till the funeral or after the funeral. So it's really important to share those things so that people know what type of testing to maybe possibly request from their doctor. One other thing you may want to do with that is just included maybe some people have like a family Bible or family journal book that they keep with different lists of things they can actually include that their family health history in that as well. And if you can't really access it, I believe up until I think on the Missouri Vital Records site, you can actually request death certificates. They only go up to a certain year. I think right now they're up to 1974, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but you can request actual death certificates. I've actually found out a lot of family history on mine where I've learned that some people had diabetes or some form of heart disease. So uh, that's another way you can access uh, a person's information is through a death certificate as well. And it's also important to know your numbers. Uh, the A1C is the average blood glucose for the last 2 to 3 months, and it measures your blood sugar level over that period of time. And so, just on some percentages I'll give you is for pre-diabetes, you want to be, actually, a normal A1C is 5.7%. Pre-diabetes would be 5.7 to 6.4%. And diabetes is diagnosed as 6.5 or higher. And people that live with diabetes, they want to actually aim for 7% or lower once they get when they get their A1Cs taken. The other test you want to get is the BMI, or a body mass index, and that gives you a calculation based on your height and your weight. The other thing is your blood pressure, and when you take your blood pressure, the systolic is the top number, and that is when your heart is beating and it pumps blood. The diastolic is the bottom number that you see, and that is the number that is when your heart is resting and it refills with blood. So, you want to get your blood pressure checked, and check with your physician on where they want your blood pressure to be. And then the other test is cholesterol that you want to get checked every, I think at least annually, and that measures your good cholesterol, which is your HDL, and your bad cholesterol, which is the LDL, and that is actually found in your liver, and it can be found in the foods that you eat as well. So you just want to build habits that can make a difference. You want to make sure that you're eating smart, you're moving more, and you're sticking. If you're taking medication, make sure that you just stick to your medication plan.
And so you're going to want to also make sure that you're getting all of your screenings. So make sure you're going to your doctor's appointments and getting your screenings. So this can include breast exams and mammograms, prostate exams, going to the dentist to check for cavities, gingivitis, periodontal disease. That could be getting a hearing exam, eye exam, foot exam. And as you get older, you may want to get a bone mineral density test.
And next, you just laugh and practice gratitude. Laugh, I know you've probably heard the term laughter is the best medicine. It improves breathing. It can reduce stress and depression. Sometimes I've heard some people say they just sit and look at maybe look at an old comedy. They may look at an old Lucy show, or look at a new comedy that they just, getting a chance to laugh is always good, or telling a joke, a corny joke. Have you heard like the dad jokes that are kind of funny? We need time to be still and reflect by making a list of things that you're grateful for. It can also help you focus on brain and positive energy. And good mental health promotes good physical health. So let go of anger and grudges so you can focus on more positive things in your life, and just enjoy every stage of your life. And one way that you can practice gratitude is you can have a gratitude journal. I know some people have a journal where they may write things down daily that they're grateful for. They may do it weekly. They may do it by the month. At some point, I actually had a gratitude jar where I would write down little things. I used to try and do it every day, and then I just kind of do it when I have time because life gets busy. So I just write down things that I'm grateful for. I put them in the jar, and at the end of the year on New Year's Eve, I like to dump the jar out and just kind of reflect on things that I found positive that I was actually grateful for during the year, because it'll be something that maybe I had a flat tire and I was able to get it fixed. I see that and I was like, oh man, I forgot that even happened. So it's just nice to write down things that you're grateful for, and then kind of reflect on it at some point during the year.
And it's something that I do. I'm not wearing it right now, but I have a little necklace that has it's a pendant necklace and it opens up. So sometimes I'll write like a little note of gratitude that I have, and I put it in the pendant, and then I wear it throughout the day, kind of like a reminder of things that I'm grateful for. Yeah. And so, really putting it all together, just practice those healthy habits that we've talked about, knowing your family health history, knowing your numbers, and make sure that you schedule and attend your routine exams.
I just want to add one thing here, but I forgot to include is we have 3 health centers. So if anybody needs to schedule any of these routine exams or screenings, they can come to our health centers. We have 3 health centers. Our main location is where our administrative offices are is John C. Murphy, and that's in Berkeley on Airport Road in Hanley. And that would also be a place where you can pick up a birth certificate or a death certificate. We do immunizations, a lot of different things there. So just you can call to schedule an appointment. Our second location will be North Central Community Health Center. That's on Jennings Station Road between Highway 70 and Natural Bridge. It's not too far from Skate King Skating Rink. And our third site is South County Health Center, and that's on Lindbergh and Gravaway. It's not too far from Grants Farm. So we have services in three different locations if you need to make appointments. And I guess that's all we have for today.
Yeah, and that's just our contact information. And we also have Dana's contact information. And yeah, and so just thank you for listening in.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Yeah, super helpful content, obviously. And and again, like I like how you guys, kind of covered the broad spectrum of, all kinds of different topics. And again, I think again, we all just kind of get into our little daily routines and habits and all the things that we normally do, right? So being able to just kind of pause and focus on so some of these topics I think are absolutely important. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
Thank you for
Thanks
having
for
me.
having us.
Okay. Okay. Welcome back. And you just finished watching the part two of the wonderful presentation from the County Health Department by Dana and Madison. So thank you for sticking with us. And there's just so much incredible information there to unpack that, that they really put into the part one and part two, both sessions. And so I wanted to just take a few moments and to build on it for you guys because, y'all have some really good questions that we got. And so anyway, you know, again, they Dana Madison did a phenomenal job covering like a lot of the healthy habits and just all kinds of different categories, right, for older adults in general. But here at Aging Advantage, our grant funding actually comes through the city of St. Louis. And so I want to make sure to cover also for the next several minutes, some takeaways from some of those topics and, that you can then actually like plug into your lives as well and just resources from the city of St. Louis that you guys can actually like implement even in terms of like the gun safety and different things, different resources like that. So to start with, we're kind of going to start at the top, presentation wise, and we're just going to kind of cover some information also just in general that I think is super important for just everyone all over the place to know, and just kind of some add-ons to what they shared with us. So first thing what I want to share with you guys is about like healthy fats. So let's start with that. So healthy fats is one of those food categories, really, I think sometimes that we shy away from because we hear the word fat and we automatically like, nope, that's bad for us. We don't want anything to do with that word. But healthy fats, things like examples like salmon, chia seeds, flaxseed, avocados, sometimes, like nuts or seeds and things like that as well, Brazil nuts, etc., are actually incredible and good healthy fat for your heart, your brain, and your joints. And a lot of times, we need that healthy fat so that our body doesn't crave like other, weird things. So, once we have that like healthy fat box checked, then we don't tend to, like I said, seek out and crave and eat sometimes like more sugary, more salty, and like other kinds of foods like that we shouldn't be eating as much. So anyway, making sure we have healthy fats is absolutely key. Sometimes people also will consider like healthy fats to be our omega oils, so like our omega fish oils. So you'll hear like 369 omega, omega 3, omega 6, omega 9, like those kind of oils. So sometimes people will get them that way as well, just things to be cognizant about. But the good news is that healthy fats like this are just easy little things to like sneak into what you're already eating, which is nice. So you can even try like stirring flaxseed or chia seeds for practicality purposes. Like, how do you get these things in? You can try stirring them right into your yogurt in the morning, or you can like add them to applesauce, which is good. You can blend them, right in, put a tablespoon or so, and you can blend them right into a smoothie. Sometimes people will also put them in things that they bake. So you can add like chia seeds to your muffins, for example, the muffin batter or something before you bake them. And a lot of times, you won't even notice that they're there, but your body will thank you. And also, with like flax, for example, like ground flax, it's also going to help to add fiber for your digestive system and keeping things moving, which is nice. So, bonus points that they can deliver for you as well, depending on what you're doing. Next thing is eating the rainbow. So, next, we're going to just kind of talk about how they talked about like the fruits and vegetables, right? And just making sure you're getting a variety of colors on your plate, because the key here is the different colors actually mean different vitamins and nutrients for your body, which is key. So, fun fact that might surprise you, and I learned this a while ago, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's good to know, and totally changed my habit of how I choose peppers now to eat. But fun fact is red bell peppers actually contain more vitamin C than strawberries do per weight. Like, who knew that? Pretty fun. So, a lot of us thought growing up, like if you're gonna eat a pepper, you're just grabbing a green one. And, maybe then, for fun, you'll find like in a stir fry or a fajita thing, or something like that. You might find like a red one or an orange one or a yellow one. But absolutely, instead of just grabbing the green one, grab, one of the other colors, grab red, yellow, orange, whatever, make stuffed peppers with them, chop all the different colors up and put them into your omelets, etc. So there's a lot of different ways you can put stuff in. But yeah, try the different colors, not just only the green ones or the ones that we typically, think. Another thing I want to mention too is, again, for some of you all that have digestive issues, some people like eating raw vegetables are a little bit harder to tolerate. So if you steam your vegetables, or you kind of break them down where you like bake them on a cookie sheet or something like that, sometimes, and like to where they're kind of cooked, if you will, but especially like steaming in particular, can actually be gentler on your digestive system and help you to break them down easier. And then you don't have as many issues, but you still get all the really good nutrients from them potentially. So, speaking of prepping, a lot of different ways that we can prep vegetables. And then we'll talk about prepping fruits too, but vegetables first, to get them into your diet a little bit more. So, obviously, like, there's such a variety that can help, and kind of also I think it's key to like keep it interesting too. So when you eat them raw, you're going to wash them and make sure they're ready to go, but think of like a classic veggie tray. So every week I like to make like a veggie tray, like a raw veggie tray and a fruit tray, like as if you're going to the party and you are the person that is in charge of bringing the veggie tray or the fruit tray. So, but you're going to just do that. And every week at home in your own house is a party. So you're going to just get those ready and just stick them in the fridge. So they're locked and loaded, ready to go at all times. And those are great because you can just pop them out and you can eat them raw when you're feeling snacky or munchy. But also you can, roast them. Like I said, you can, toss them, take your veggies, wash them, whatever, put them on, like I said, a cookie tray. And then you can toss them around, in maybe like a little bit of like olive oil or spray some like Pam or something like that on them. And then put some seasoning, spices, and then just pop them in the oven for like 350 degrees, and maybe you stick them in there for about 15, 20 minutes ish, depending on what you got going on. Flip them about halfway through. And that's a great way and a nice, lazy, easy way to just get the veggies cooked, minimal effort, if you will, and then you're done. But you can also obviously like steam them on the stove top. You can steam them in the microwave. You can boil them. You can even throw them on a grill. You can make it fancy and make it a kebab and stick it on the grill, or whatever you want to do. But different ways to get veggies in, and you can make it fun. And, if you're somebody who doesn't like love the taste or the texture necessarily of vegetables on their own, like by themselves, you can hide them. So that's kind of fun. So you can chop them up really little, and, you can even like chop up spinach. You can, again, like chop up, onions or peppers or all kinds of things you can chop up. You can even take some corn, peas, whatever you're going to do. Tomatoes, whatnot, healthy fats, avocados, but you can like tuck them into a casserole. You can put them in a soup. You can put them in a stew. You can put them in an omelet. You can make egg bites, chili, fajitas, whatever you need to do. Just kind of get them in there, and you don't have to make a big deal about it. But especially, again, for like younger people or older people also too, when people age, they tend to lose their taste, and also their smell senses sometimes, along with hearing and eyes and all the other body parts, like your taste and your smell kind of starts to go a little bit sometimes for people as they age. So, if you've always traditionally just not liked a certain fruit or vegetable, just try them. It's totally fine. Because again, you might not even taste that they're in there in the first place. So bonus points. Same thing with fruit. Fruit, same way. So again, lots of options besides just eating them raw. You can freeze fruit, keep it in the refrigerator, or freezer. And a neat trick that I like is to take frozen fruit and stick it in a bowl or stick it in a jar or stick it in a container right in the fridge. And when the fruit melts in the fridge from its frozen state to its, just, I guess, I don't know, whatever you call it, like room temperature state, but not really because it's in the fridge. But when that process happens, all the ice molecules and the water molecules that are on the fruit will actually create like this amazing juice as the fruit, quote unquote, melts, if you will, and becomes room-ish, whatever temperature, which is really awesome because then it has that little natural juice. So you can blend that up. You can drizzle it over pancakes. You can put it on waffles. You can put it in like plain yogurt. You can put it in vanilla yogurt, etc., to add a little bit of color, to add a little bit of like natural sweetness. And it's a really great way, to, again, sneak in the little fruit and to cut back on like added sugars, which is a beautiful thing. Also, obviously, as a lot of us, know, frozen fruit will obviously blend beautifully into smoothies or even like a homemade like fruit shake. Like if you're going to make a, like a strawberry ice cream shake, or like maybe you're going to make like a home blizzard or something like that. But you can use frozen fruit for that as well, which is nice. The next thing, I just kind of want to touch on really quick too, is the movement aspect. So shifting gears and talking about movement in your body. It doesn't have to mean you're going to like a formal workout class, etc. It can just be as simple as like walking laps around your dining room table when you're talking on the phone to somebody in your family, instead of sitting in your recliner and talking on the phone that way. Just get up, move around. And so maybe you just make it a habit of every time you're on the phone, then you're going to be walking around, phone rings and, oh, that's your cue. Get up, start doing laps, just start walking around. And you will be amazed at how many extra steps you can get in just by doing that. It is crazy. The other fun thing too is obviously from a stepwise and walking wise, like, get connected to like a Silver Sneakers or, a senior center or something like that, where you can walk and socialize at the same time. Bonus points. Another thing that I think is really fun too, I like to kind of call it like a walk and talk meeting or walk and talk, setup. But you can also, schedule on purpose a time to, connect with a friend or family member that might live totally somewhere else in another country, even, or another part of another part of the United States. Maybe they still live in the same town, but you're having a hard time connecting like time wise to actually like get together with that person. So you can schedule a time that you're going to be walking around the neighborhood, or again, walking laps if it's hot outside or cold, you need to walk inside of the mall or wherever that's going to be for you, or at the rec center, but to where you are walking while you're talking to them on the phone, and you can catch up that way. And so sometimes that can be really, a fun thing, like every Monday at 5 o'clock, you talk to your son Bob, who lives in California at, 5 o'clock. And that's kind of the spot. And you're walking and he's walking. So that's kind of fun. Thank you all again for joining us. And, that wraps up kind of like some of the expanded look that I wanted to provide to you guys in the healthy habits for aging well category here. And again, right here in the city, of St. Louis, we have so many incredible resources, and in our surrounding area, as well. So again, just huge thank you to Dana and Madison for, doing the original presentations for us, that really helped to kind of just inspire some of these extra thoughts and some of this confirmation for you guys. So again, if you found this helpful, we would love for you to follow Aging Advantage on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you're going to find more videos and more just helpful education content like this for all of you. So thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you guys next time. And until then, take care of each other, stay safe, stay confident, and, again, get out there and just interact with one another and really support one another and show up for yourself and for others. Thank you.